Hello people, today we're going to be looking at my top 7 productivity tools and software. If you are productive digitally or you have a lot of digital resources that you have to manage, trust me, these tools are for you. Okay, so we're going to start out with a category I like to call software right under your nose, because literally these tools come with Windows, but sometimes we tend to overlook it because it's literally right under our noses. Let's check it out. The first one on the list is going to come in threes, and I'm talking about Snip tool, Clipboard history, and ClipChamp. These 3 software, they all come with Windows, but a lot of times I find that we sometimes overlook it, right? So let's bring up the Snip tool first. And if I just click on the start button and just type Snip, this is what the Snip tool looks like, right? Comes with all version of Windows, well, Windows 10 and up. I'm using Windows 11, right? So this is the version that we're using here. The next tool is gonna be the Clipboard history, right? And to activate Clipboard history, you're gonna hold Windows key and press V. So it's kind of like you're doing copy and paste, right? But when you do Windows key and press V, you're gonna see this dialog box come up, and it's gonna ask you to turn on Clipboard history. So I'm gonna turn that on now. All right. Now the last tool in this trio is gonna be ClipChamp, right? So I'm gonna press start and I'm gonna write CLIP, and you will see it come up here, ClipChamp. All right, this is what it looks like. So I'm gonna put this one over here. I'm just gonna use my credentials and give it a couple seconds and then it would load up. Now, ClipChamp is kind of just like a quick video editing program, right? But we're not going to be talking about doing video editing in detail. We're going to be looking at how we can use it in combination with these other tools to get some really quick and easy productivity boosters, right? So to get started, it's going to ask you, what kind of videos brings you here. You can just pick any one of these. I'm just going to choose personal, and this is where you can, start to create a video. Now, we're not going to really use this yet because, as I said, it's not about video editing. I just wanted to show you where those tools are. Now, how do we use these 3 programs? Well, let's tackle it in terms of a situation that may arise. Now, let's say that I'm on a website, right? And in this case, I'm browsing my own portfolio website here, right? And let's say that I want to capture some information. I'll go to the About Me part, and I see some information here. This is text information, so I can easily copy this text. But if I scroll down here, I see some other information here that's text, but they're not text that I can copy. So this is where the Snip tool comes along, right? So if I go here and type Snip, there we go, and I'm gonna just click make sure that you're on images, and I'm going to click new, and I'm going to just grab this area right here. Then it's going to pop up after you grab it, and then what you want to look for is this tool here, text actions, and when you click that, it will read the image and you are able to copy all text from the image. So for example, if I now go to, let's just bring up Notepad, I can paste it, and then you notice that you have the text there, right? So this is just to copy the text directly from an image using the Snip tool. So that is pretty cool. Now, the other interesting thing that you can do, right? I'm gonna just scroll back up here, and let's say that I'm reading through this document and I want to copy some things. So let's say I like this title, so I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna right click and copy, and let me scroll down, and let's say, oh, this is a nice section here. I want to also copy that, And let's just take one more little paragraph that is here. I'm gonna copy this. Now, if I go to, for example, WordPad and I right click and choose paste, obviously it's gonna paste the last thing that I copied, right? Which makes sense. But of course, if I wanted to now grab that information that I had before, I would have to copy, then paste, and copy, then paste. But not anymore, because now instead of going to Control V to paste, I will now use Windows key V, and that will bring up the clipboard. And here is where I can actually pick the different things that I copied all at once. It even works with images as well, because here is the image that I copied earlier, and I'm able to now grab each of these. Let me do it again, and let me do it again, and I can just grab them directly from the clipboard, all built into Windows. So again, that is hold Control, hold Windows key, and do V, and that is how you bring that up. Okay, so some other tools that we have at our disposal. So let me bring up that website again, and this time I'm going to go to demo reel, and I'm going to click play demo reel here, and here we have a video that's playing. Now here I am watching a video on the internet, and let's say that there is something interesting about this video. Maybe there's a clip that I want to grab at a particular moment in the video. Now of course I can't download this video, just like many videos on the internet, nor can I send a link. Let's say I want to paste this in a document, or I want to send the actual video file. What I can do is go to the Snip tool again, but this time I'm going to switch this over from image to this little video camera icon here, and I'm going to click new, and then I'm going to just draw a box, and instead of snipping an image, what this is actually doing now is going to snip a video, right? And after I draw this box, what this is actually doing now, it is actually snipping a video, and I just need to press start. So now it is actually recording. Here's a countdown. So now when I press play, my snip tool is recording a video, which is pretty cool, because now I can just hit stop whenever I want to stop recording it. And there I have this video here that is captured, right? So I can press play now, and there it is. I have captured the video, which is pretty cool, right? Now, of course, I can hit the save icon now, and I can save this as a MP4 file, which is good, but this is where ClipChamp comes in. So notice you have this thing here that says edit in ClipChamp. So I can just click this now, and it will just jump straight into ClipChamp. And there I have the video that I can now edit. So let's say I just wanted this part of the video. I can now just drag it there. And let's say this is what I wanted from the video. Now I just choose export, and now I get to actually choose the different sizes, right? So if I wanted to send this in an email, like I just snip a little part of a video from pretty much anywhere on the computer, I can just click edit in ClipChamp and format it for email and then send it as an attachment. So let me just choose this one, and that's it. It's all done, and there is a playback right there, right? Now the other interesting thing is that I can also export it as a GIF file, which this is just awesome, because what this means now is that this is now if I open the folder, this is now a GIF file, right? Which I can copy this. And the good thing about a GIF file is that, let me just bring up for OneNote, for example, I can paste this GIF file here, or I can paste it in a document, or I can paste it in a messaging service like WhatsApp, and that GIF file will actually play just like how the video is playing. So that is pretty cool, and all of that is coming from the Snip tool and then going through the ClipChamp to kind of edit it to get exactly what you want. Okay, now for the next tool on my list, the second tool. This tool is also free, right? This one is called Power Toys. Now, Power Toys is pretty popular amongst tech enthusiasts, but I want to just reiterate how useful these tools are just for the everyday user. Now, Power Toys is really just a set of tools that's made from various Microsoft developers, and they kind of package them together. You can get them from GitHub website. The link will be in the description for this and for all of the other tools that you can download, right? So when you head over to the GitHub website, it will look something like this, and then you will download the version based on the type of computer that you have. For this one, I'm downloading the x64-bit version, and you install it. Now it is 100% free, and when it installs, you're gonna see it here, and I'm gonna just load it up here, and this is what it looks like. Now, this may be looking very complicated, and of course, remember what I said at the beginning. I'm not going to be going through all the features. I'm just going to be going through my favorite features, right? So these are the different tools, and I have about 5 tools that I use a lot. The first one is going to be Fancy Zones, and this one I use to help to organize my windows in different locations, right? So if I go to Fancy Zones here, and these are all the options for Fancy Zones, and I'll just choose Launch Layout Editor, and then this will come up. And then this is basically different zones. You can kind of see them in the background, different layouts for the screen. So for example, if I choose this grid here, and my favorite thing to do is to use non-primary mouse button to toggle zones. And what that means is that when I drag and hold right click at the same time, right? So I'm left clicking to drag and holding right click. You can see it highlight these different zones. So I can just release it, and then that window goes there, and I can bring up another window, drag it, put that one there, and so forth. Now, of course, I can drag this one over here. Now, of course, Windows does come with its own kind of system for laying out, arranging different windows, right? So for example, if I hover over here, you will see, you have these options here that comes native with Windows 11, but the Power Toys does give me some more flexibility. So for example, I can go into the settings here and I can create my own layout, and this is by far the best feature of Power Toys. So for example, I can click and hold and drag these 2 points together to form one zone, and then another zone here. I can cut this in half like this, and I can adjust it how I see fit and choose save, and that's it. So now I have a custom layout, which is here. I can just drag this here, and I can drag this other one here, right? So that's pretty cool. And there's some other settings that you can use to choose the distances between the different windows, shortcuts for the windows, and all of that. But as I said, I'm just going through my favorite features. So we're moving on to the next one. Okay, so the next Power Toy feature that is my favorite is gonna be the mouse crosshair. All right, now if you scroll up to dashboard, you will see the different modules that you can enable or disable, right? So I want to make sure that mouse utilities is enabled, which it is. So if you scroll on the left side to mouse utilities, and these are some different utilities that has to do with the mouse. Pretty cool. But the ones we're going to look at is going to be enable mouse crosshair, and we're going to just switch that on, and we can see that the shortcut for this is Windows key Alt P. So if I do that now, you will see this crosshair comes up, and I guess you might be saying, okay, this looks like I'm playing a game or something, but I am telling you, if you're a person that you do a lot of productivity related things, so for example, if you do any kind of spreadsheet, this is absolutely a game changer because you can easily line things up from one side of the screen to the next. The same thing with drawings. You might have a drawing on the left, a drawing on the right, and you need to see if they're aligned, especially if you have wide screens. This is really awesome. Very simple, but it can help you out a bunch. Okay, so PowerToys has a bunch of other tools. Some of them is useful. I'm just gonna give some honorable mentions. So for example, like Awake, that keeps the computer on and it will override all of your sleep settings. So for example, if you're rendering something or saving a video or something and you don't want your computer to go to sleep and you don't want to go through all of your power settings, you just can go here and just say stay awake and it will just override whatever power settings you have. Another honorable mention is the file locksmith. If you've ever tried to move or copy a file and it says cannot copy or you can't disconnect your thumb drive because the file is in use, this comes in your right click menu. So you can just right click and it will tell you basically what program is using the file. Now there are a bunch of other useful tools like always on top, and which makes the window goes on top, but I'm not going to go into those now. I'm just covering my favorite tools. So that is PowerToys. So now we want to go to the next really awesome tool, and that tool is going to be Quick Look. Right, so you can get it from the Microsoft Store. You can also get it directly from GitHub. It is 100% free, so that is great. And what Quick Look does, if you are a Mac user, you will be very familiar with the process of, if you want to preview a file, you just click on it and press the space bar and it previews, right? So if you're a Mac user, you're used to that. For PC users, not really, because when we want to view a file, we just double click a file, it comes up, and we even have some, we can edit the file and we can put it in ClipChamp or upload it to OneDrive, and this is the regular Windows photo viewer. But Quick Look allows you to just press spacebar, press spacebar again, press spacebar again. So you can just quickly view these pictures by just hitting spacebar. Okay, fine. You might say, okay, so spacebar instead of double click. It's okay. But the other thing is that with Quick View, you can also preview other types of files. So for example, they have plugins for Quick View. So I can preview a folder by just pressing spacebar. So for example, if I want to see what's in this folder, I just press spacebar and I'm able to go into that folder without actually double clicking to go into that folder. So that's pretty cool. And some other things like you can preview PDF files as well by just hitting the spacebar, and it will come up in this preview thing right here, right? And this is pretty cool because you can keep it on top. So let's say you wanted to preview this file, but then you also wanted to preview this file, so you can also have this file here now, right? And you can preview multiple files together. So, okay, fine. Hit the space bar, maybe not that of a big deal, but you even have plugins that can do even more. So for example, you can also hit the space bar to view 3D files. Pretty awesome. So basically it is completely open source, and what they have done was to create a bunch of plugins that you can download for a Quick Look to be able to preview multiple different types of files. So that is pretty cool, and it is 100% free. Okay, so now the fourth item on the list is going to be Winaero Tweaker, right? So If I go start here and I bring up Winaero Tweaker, choose OK. All right, this is what that program looks like. And all this is just a bunch of very minor tweaks that you can do to Windows, right? Works with Windows 10, Windows 11. So for example, if you want to, this is one of my favorites, to have the classic context menu. So for example, you may know that when you right click, you get this kind of Windows 11 kind of menu, and then you have to choose show more options to get the normal, I call it normal menu, right? So now with this option where you can say enable classic menu, and you're going to restart Explorer. Now when I right click, I go straight to this menu, and I don't have to go to a menu, then go to a second menu, right? Now there are a bunch of other tweaks that you can see here. Everything from choosing the type of taskbar, if you want the choosing how big you want the titles for each window, if you want rounded corners. It is just crazy with the amount of tweaks that you can do. But as I said, I'm just sticking to my favorites. So the context menu is one of them. And the next one, that's my favorite, is putting things in the context menu. So for example, when I right click, I would love to have my snip tool. So I want to enable that. When I right click, I want to be able to shut down. I want to have my snipping tool there. Another one, I want to have my task manager. And oh, this one is super useful to have the Bluetooth in my right click menu. So now when I right click, I see Bluetooth, you know, shut down, snipping tool, task manager, and there's a bunch of things that you can add to your right click. So basically you can customize the heck out of this right click menu, which is pretty cool, because now I can just, you know, go to the snipping tool and it will activate the snipping tool by right clicking, which is pretty cool, right? All right, so the next one of my favorite features is also it's called customize this PC folder menu. I know that sounds a little confusing, right? So what does that mean? Well, if I go to the this PC menu, so this is what it normally looks like, and then we go to this PC and then we see our drives. So you can actually add custom menus inside of this where it shows you the drives here, which is something might seem really small, but you know, if you use a lot of software and you're trying to open a file and you go to browse, instead of going into your C drive and then you go to there and then you go to another folder, you can just add this folder directly out here, right? So I'll give you an example of what that looks like. I can now go to add custom folder, and let's say that I want to add, let's choose a folder that would not normally be out there, like wallpapers. I want to add wallpapers there, so I choose that. I want it to display as wallpapers, and I can even choose an icon. So let's choose a nice maybe picture icon, maybe something like that. Choose OK and add folder. So now it's there. So now when I go to this PC and I go to this PC here, I now have this folder that is here. And it's not just that it is here in your file explorer, but when you use any other program. So for example, if I go to WordPad here and let's say I open Word or PowerPoint and I want to just go to open, you know, anytime I go to this PC, this will always be here, which that is just a real time saver than having to browse every time. You can really customize those menus. The fifth software on the list of my favorite productivity tools to use is going to be WindowTop. WindowTop can be found on the Microsoft Store, right? It is not really free, right? Because we're now going into the realm of software that costs money, right? It costs about $10. When you download it, it will just download for free. But when you open it, it will tell you that some of the features are going to be locked. Now you can completely use it for free forever, but trust me, the features are well worth that $10. So let's take a look at it now. Now how this works, right? I'm going to just bring up a browser window here, right? And I'll just kind of float this window on top. Now how window top works, it puts a little icon. I'm going to try and zoom in here. This little green icon on every window that is in Windows, right? And you will see it gives you these features. Right now you have set on top, which is pretty straightforward. You click this and that window will remain on top, and then you have this picture in picture mode, which is pretty cool, and you have this transparency mode, which is also pretty cool. So you can click that and then the window becomes transparent, and then you can change that there. You know, nothing special, but let's look at the options, right? So I'm going to go down here and we're going to take a look on, there we go, in our settings. All right, so let's take a look on the settings. Now these are the different features that you have. Always on top, picture in picture, anchors, opacity, dark mode, and a few more. Now my favorite is gonna be the picture in picture. Like, you're gonna love this. So let's check it out. Now, when you go to the main settings, so these are the different menus. This is the default toolbar. They only give you these 3 tools, and these are the other tools that you can enable. So there's a glass mode that you can enable, which is okay. Let me just turn it on. You can enable this crop mode, which is my favorite feature, and my second favorite feature is dark mode, right? Like a dark mode override. So let's check it out. So I'm going to minimize this. So if I go here, and what I can do here is I can crop this window. So let's see, let me go back to the demo reel here, and let's say I go to the gallery view. That's right here. All right, and here is a video right here, and let's say I played this video. Maybe this video, it could be a music video or just some interesting video that you want to have playing. Now what you can actually do is you can go here and you can go to crop, and you can actually crop out the area of this video like that. And it's giving me the tutorial now because, you know, we're using it for the first time. And what it does is crop the entire window down to this window here. So remember, if I go back here and I go to turn off the crop, and I also go to picture in picture, this is the entire screen, right? So if I want, I can just, if I want to focus on just one element in this window, like let's say this element here, I want to focus on just this element, whether it's a video or an image, I can just hover up here, go to crop, and just crop that area and say yes. And now my entire window is cropped down to this area, and I can just put this in a little tiny window like that, and I can have it over here like that. Now notice when I hover over it, it shows you the full view, and the reason I do that is, I mean, this window is so tiny down here. It is like so tiny, you wouldn't be able to see anything. So it kind of gives you this maximized view that's right here, right? Which is pretty cool. So you can even disable that maximized view if you want. If I go into the settings here we go, and I can go to picture in picture here, and I can scroll down and turn off that feature. So now, you know, I can have this little window here, and this is just a little piece of a large website. Excellent for if you want to watch like a tutorial video, and maybe that window comes with a lot of other stuff that you don't want to see, but you don't want to maximize it to the full screen, and maybe you don't have an option to pop out that video. Then you can just crop down that video and just put it wherever you want to put it, which is pretty cool. Now, if you want to go back to the full video, let me make this a little bigger so you can see it. You just look for that little green mark here, and then you want to just click crop to turn it off. And then if you notice, this window is going to be minimized, so you need to now go into picture in picture and click that to disable that, and then you're back to the full size. So that is pretty cool. All right, so my next favorite feature of window top, to demonstrate this, I'm gonna open, let's say, a typical program. And like this program here, WordPad, does not have a dark mode. So there are some programs that exist nowadays, believe it or not, that doesn't have a dark mode. Now, I am a huge fan of dark mode because, you know, I'm around the computer a lot. When a program like this is white, it's just like blinding me. And some programs don't have a dark mode. Now, this is kind of an override, this feature. I can just choose set to dark mode here, and you just give it a little while, and it will create its own dark mode for that program, even if that program does not have a dark mode. So like this, I really love this for those programs that don't have a dark mode. Most programs nowadays have it, but there are still some ones out there that doesn't. It's not perfect. Obviously, the dark mode, if the dark mode was made by the application, it would be much better. But I would take what I can get. WordPad didn't have a dark mode, and with this feature, I can let any window have a dark mode. I can just click it again so that it comes out of dark mode. So yeah, so that is pretty cool. That is my other feature. Just some honorable mentions. With window top, a next cool feature is the picture in picture. So you have crop and picture in picture. Crop is where you crop down a section of that application window, and picture in picture is where you can resize an application window. I know it sounds like, okay, every application window can be resized, but not always, right? So for example, if I wanted to resize this window, you know, then this is what would happen. You know, the icons, the ribbon would kind of change so that the window can be resized. But if you wanted to just scale the entire window down with the buttons and everything, there's really no way to do that, right? So this picture-in-picture mode allows me to rescale any application much smaller, and I can still use it. I mean, it depends. You know, your mileage may vary if you have a small screen, but if I just wanted the program to be a little bit smaller, this is perfect for me to do that. So that is the picture-in-picture mode, right? But that in a nutshell is my favorite features for window top. All right, now my sixth and seventh favorite productivity software, I'm going to kind of group them together because it's about file organization, right? So the sixth one is called Tree Sizes, right? And that has a free version, right? But it also has a paid version, right? The paid version is about $28 or somewhere near there. But I'm going to promote the free version if you don't want to pay for the premium features. And if you wanted to get the premium features, then I'm going to recommend my seventh favorite productivity program. But let's look at this one. This is Tree Sizes, and I can just open it here. There we go. All right. And what Tree Sizes is, it basically, I'm going to choose the C drive and choose select. It basically, I'm going to say restart as administrator. There we go. And what it's doing is telling me the size of all the files on my C drive, and it's giving me a kind of a graphical representation here. Now, by default, it might give you, if I go to view here, I can turn this off, and this is what you might see by default, which this is really the main purpose of tree sizes. It is simply telling you what is the sizes of all your files and folders and giving you in a tree form, right? So you can track down the file that is using up all your space. So for example, if I'm wondering what is using up all my space here, and then I say, oh, well, Windows here is taking up 22 gigs. And if I expand this down, I can say, oh, in the Windows folder, this folder here is taking up the most space, right? It is using up 32% of all the space that is in that folder. And as you go down, it uses less space. So I normally use this program to hunt for, when I'm running out of space, I can hunt for the folder or the files that is just eating away my disk space, right? And then of course you have this graphical representation, which is pretty cool. So, you know, if for example, I go to the users folder and I'm wondering why is the users folder so big? Right here in the graphical presentation, you can easily see the different files or folders that's taking up the most space. So for example, these big boxes would mean large spaces and the small boxes would mean smaller spaces. So visually, you could just jump and say, oh, well, this is taking up a lot of space. What is this? It's downloads, and you can double click that and then you can see all the files in downloads. So this is the main purpose of this program. It is primarily for you to just quickly hunt down where all of your disk storage is gone, and you can hunt down those files and delete them. Be cautious what files you delete though. Now, if you are a person that manages a lot of digital files, let's say that you could be in a small office and there's a lot of document files, multiple persons working in the office, and you need to manage and place and update a ton of files, then I want to recommend File Explorer on steroids is what I call it. So this is your typical File Explorer that comes with Windows, where you can, you know, browse the different files that are on your computer. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but if you're dealing with multiple files and having to organize multiple files, you're going to need something that is way more powerful than the typical File Explorer. Well, enter XY Explorer. All right, so I'm going to open XY Explorer here. And immediately as I open it, you know, it looks a little complex, right? Now, the reason I call this Explorer on steroids is because it does exactly what Explorer does. It allows you to explore the different files, right? It also gives you the folder sizes as well. So it does what tree sizes is already doing. Now, the truth is, if you are going to purchase tree sizes, then I would say purchase XY, because XY costs maybe about $5 more. And you get to show all your folder sizes. In addition to that, you get a whole ton of just file organization features, right? So let's start with the basic one. So for example, and this is of course my favorites, right? So like if I was to go through all the features here, it would take like hours. So I'm just going through my favorite features. The first thing to start with is that it gives me folder sizes. So for example, if I go into a folder like here, I can see that all the folder sizes are here. I can list by folder size like that. So this is the sizes of the folders. If you don't see the folder sizes here, you can always right click and turn on show folder sizes. And of course, if I go into this folder, then all those folder sizes will pop up eventually. Now, the only difference with this and tree sizes is that this doesn't have the fancy graphs that tree sizes have. And if you get the professional version of tree sizes, you get even more fancy graphs, you know, if you like graphs. But anyway, so this is the sizes of the folders. So that is one of my favorite features. My next favorite feature has to be the tabs. Like, this is how tabs are meant to be. So you have this tree that's on the left that tells you exactly where you are browsing. So if you go in a folder and then a subfolder, you can track where you are. And then it shows up over here as tabs. So for example, I can clone a tab. I mean, think of Chrome. We're using Google Chrome. All the things you can do with Google Chrome, you can do here. So I can clone this tab. So now I have another tab here. And then I can browse somewhere else, but I can go back to the previous tab that's here. I can create a new tab and I can go into the history of the tabs. Oh, one of my favorite features is, oops, I accidentally closed the program, or I just closed it because I finished using it. Well, now if I open back the program, all my tabs are exactly how I left it. Oh my goodness. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, where you're browsing and you're deep inside a folder in File Explorer and you're going to folders and subfolders, and then maybe you close File Explorer and it's just like you have no idea where you are when you open back File Explorer. XY Explorer, it keeps the history of where you are, right? Even if the program crashes, and that's definitely one of my favorite features. So as you notice, there are two windows here, and each of these windows has their own tabs. So I can, right click this and I can say open a new tab, and a new tab opens here. Or if I'm up here, I can right click that and say open a new tab, and it opens here. So like, you can go crazy with tabs in XY Explorer. It's just one of my favorite features. All right. Now my next favorite feature is gonna be the color coding, right? So for example, there's this button here where you can enable color filters. So when I turn that on, you'll notice that everything starts to get, all colorful. There are different colors here. And what this is, it's like a color coding, so you can know based on different features. So for example, the most obvious and popular one that I use is green. Green means it's a file that was recently edited. So I don't know if you've ever, like, imagine if you were in a folder with a bunch of pictures, like these pictures here, right? And let's say you copied a couple of these pictures and you pasted the pictures in the same folder, and you're like, crap, I don't remember which pictures I pasted. Well, when you turn on the filters, you can choose to filter for folders created recently, or you could even filter for folders or files based on size. So I can go to files modified recently. I can turn that on. I can turn on created or modified today, and instantly you will see it bring up all of the recent folders that I just copied. So if you've ever had to merge two folders together with a lot of files, and maybe you made a mistake, or you're not sure which files I copied and which ones existed, this can help you a ton to filter that. Now, when you go to the color coding, there are other things that it can tell you. So this one here allows you to just turn on an individual color based on a feature. Like if you want to see all the read-only files, you turn that on. I mean, there is none here. Or you want to see another one of my favorites is file based on shaded based on size. So the darker ones are bigger and the lighter ones are smaller. So that's another cool feature. Now these color codings, they have different meaning, and you can actually right click this and go into the configure color filters, and it will tell you what they mean. So for example, this is saying that it will shade a file green that has been modified 30 minutes from the current time. So you can actually go in and edit these scripts and say, okay, shade it green if it was edited 2 minutes ago or 1 minute ago, or shade it a particular color if it was edited on a particular day. So you can just imagine the power that you can, if you're dealing with a ton of files, this can help you to really filter through them. Now, a couple other, I would say, honorable mentions, features that I also like. I like the filter feature. So you have these filter funnel looking like icons here, and you can just say, okay, show me all files that are image files or all files that are audio files, pretty straightforward. There's a very robust search feature. So if I look down here, you can search based off so much criteria that's here. And the great thing is that all of that is based on an individual tab. So you can search in this tab and then search for something else in this tab, right? So that is pretty cool. Okay, another one of my favorite features is the way that it copies and pastes files. So for example, let's say that I go into my pictures here, and let's say I want to grab this picture here. Now this picture is in this folder, and then it's also in this folder, and then this is in the my pictures folder, and so forth and so forth. You get it? So normally if I copy this picture here, and I'm going to just go up here and I'm going to paste it on my desktop. So if I go into the desktop folder and I paste it here, then of course the picture paste is right there. But I can right click and I can go to paste special. And man, there are so many ways to copy and paste files, right? So I'm not going to go through all of them, just my favorite. So one of my favorite ways to paste was when I go to paste special is to paste here with path. So when I do that and I choose OK, it creates the exact path that I copied the file from. So for example, C drive, users, owner, pictures of brand, 2008 pics, and then the pic here. So if you look here, it created the exact same path that I copied the file from. So, this is a very niche case, I guess, but for me this is something major, because sometimes I'm moving a file and I need to paste it, but it needs to be pasted with the same path arrangement, right? And there are many other ways that you can paste a file, as you can see when you go to paste special. There's so many ways to paste the different files. So those are my favorite features for the XY Explorer. So those were my 7 favorite tools for productivity. We did tools that are right under our noses: Screen Clip, Clipboard History, and ClipChamp. Those are all built into Windows. They're completely free and they're already installed on your computer. Next, Power Toys, right? And those are tools coming straight from Microsoft developers. A host of very useful tools. We just looked on a few of them. The fancy zones where you can organize the windows in different places. We also took a look on Quick Look, which is pretty cool. That allowed you to just hit spacebar to preview a file without having to open it. You can also download plugins where you preview 3D files, preview folders, and a host of other files to preview. We looked at Window Top, which gave us the ability to crop a window and resize it. That's pretty cool. We looked at Tree Sizes, where we can hunt down all of those files that's using up our hard drive space. And for those of us that require massive options for managing large amounts of files, definitely XY Explorer, which is probably the most costly one on this list. It's $34, but it gives you a whole heap of features for managing files and folders. So those were my top 7 favorite productivity software. So let me know if these tools are also your favorite tools, or maybe there are some tools that I didn't include or that I don't even know about, feel free to share this discussion down in the comments. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.